Welcome to Get Engaged, LSS SC's podcast, where we share heartwarming stories of hope and explore topics that matter to our communities with the help of experts and thought leaders. I'm your host for today, Paul Fournier, and we're broadcasting on the road from our future San Bernardino Community Wellness Campus. And I am excited to bring you insightful conversations on a wide range of topics. So sit back, relax, and get ready to engage. So today I am pleased to have with us on the podcast Pastor Jessica Alexander. She and her husband Tom pastor Grace Chapel here in San Bernardino and also operate a nonprofit called Operation Grace. So Jessica, welcome. I'm tickled to have you.
Thank you, Paul. It's good to be here.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, your ministries? And
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was actually born and raised and educated right here in San Bernardino County. And then I married a guy from LA and went out to LA for a little bit. We have a family of 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy. We have a set of twins in the middle. And while I was in LA, I was actually practicing with my husband, practicing law. And so I found that through just about everything that I was doing, there was this common thread in my life that had to do with housing and also ministry. So it was great to get an invitation to come back around 2011 or so and pastor the church where I grew up in here in San Bernardino, and then also to lead the affiliate nonprofit that deals with housing. So I just think that, sometimes when we think the pieces of our life don't work together, God brings them all together so that they can be useful. So I'm glad to be back now. This is going on 13 years leading in, San Bernardino as the pastor of our church, and doing that with my husband is awesome. And then also leading Operation Grace. So,
okay. Now, Lutheran Social Services and the Community Wellness Campus, we serve primarily homeless men here. You serve a different population primarily. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So Operation Grace primarily serves homeless unaccompanied women. And then when I came back to lead, we expanded that to serving also moms with kids, because we were getting requests from all over the place. We had unaccompanied women coming. We had women coming with children. And so I try to serve what the needs are in my community and to do what I can. So we expanded to try to help women with children as well. And but it's been great partnering with Lutheran Social Services because, people, when they call for help, they don't know who to call and they don't know where to start. And in the community, we have to take a no wrong door approach. They may call my organization, but at the end of the day, they get rerouted to your organization. They don't always start off calling 211. Sometimes they go to Google. And so we have to know what services are in the community. So I have enjoyed the partnership that Operation Grace has had with Lutheran Social Services for many years, but for my term as leader, interfacing with leaders like Pastor Dave, which is now Bishop Dave, who would always remind me to keep on keeping on. And I was sharing with you that we're both Bulldogs. We both went to the University of Redlands. We had to,
I thought that was an adjective, not an identity.
We are probably both really Bulldogs, but we learned through our collaboration that we actually are, both alums of University of Redlands, and encourage each other in our projects. And I think that's important to note that community partners are just that, we're partners. Oftentimes we are, competing for the same pot of funding, but at the end of the day, whether you get it or I get it, the community's being served. So we have to learn to celebrate each other.
Now, you mentioned you're also working on not just women, but working with transitional age youth. Could you give me just a little tidbit on that?
Absolutely. So women and children has been something that we've been working on for years. But I think actually just this passion was born out of my husband and I raising children. and understanding how hard it is to transition children from being, youth to young adults, and seeing our community of people that don't have the advantages that my children have, and wanting to share with them, I guess some of our secret sauce. As you know, my kids are three of them are in college now. We talk about this often because you're my mentor for this, because you have brilliant children, and
as do you.
Yeah. So I have my oldest daughter is graduating from USC this May, and she's 18. She's going to be headed into an MD PhD program between USC and Caltech. So we walked through what it was like as parents to have gifted children, which also have special needs, right? And
always.
They do.
Always.
People don't realize that. We talk about this a lot because people think that, gifted children, they just have it easy. They have special needs as well because they are young and being put into an adult environment that they may not be ready for. But likewise, transition age youth, they are also a population with special needs. How are they supposed to know the social services that are available to them? How are they supposed to understand how to navigate the homeless system? And just teaching our kids how to navigate an adult world at a young age taught us we can perhaps navigate and help other young people that are in an unfortunate situation, and they're finding themselves in that situation as young people, and they need to grow up very quickly. Yeah. And so that's kind of what got us in the interested in serving this population. And so we are working to develop services and develop some shelter for them as well. We're new to this. We admit it. We're new to it in the sense of a social service provider, but we're not new to it in the sense that, we've been parents and we are navigating that with our own kids. 3 of them are now in college, and we're so proud of them.
And just for clarification, because a lot of people don't know, and there's multiple definitions, what age range is transitional age youth?
Well, transitional age youth, I believe, starts at 16 and goes to 25 now. We're specifically focusing more so with the 18 to 25, that's that part of it. But yeah, I mean, it's the toughest time in life. So when I look back on my own youth, it was a tough time learning how to become an adult. There's no handbook for that. You just kind of, stumble and fall and stumble and get back up again somehow. But, and navigating that in the housing sphere, what is that? So I think there's something to be offered. We have some great transition age youth providers, but I think even they would admit there's not enough. We need more services, and we need more people to jump in and help.
Cool. Thank you. Be right back.
Don't go away. And if you've been inspired by anything you've heard on today's podcast and would like to volunteer for Lutheran Social Services of Southern California, see our website, lsssc.org. Select Donate, then Volunteer, and donate your time and talent to a cause you care about most.
So, Jessica, you are not only a pastor and the head of a nonprofit and a mom and all those other roles.
Yeah.
You are also a member of the San Bernardino County InterAgency Council on Homelessness, and you've been actually the chair for how long now?
This will be my second year I'm going to be the chair. Before that, I was the vice chair. So,
okay.
Yes.
So tell us about, it's called ICH for short. Tell us about ICH and your role as chair, and what their mission is.
You know what? I like to tease and say I'm the janitor a lot, actually. But actually, I mean something deeper when I tease and joke like that. I accomplish just about whatever I do with the idea in mind that I'm a servant leader. Right. That I'm here to serve people. And, Jesus said, the one that's going to be the greatest, you're going to be everybody's servant. And so, even though there's not a lot written on paper about what the role of the chair is, I think that role has been shaped by people that have learned to bring the community together. And so initially in my role...
May I pause? What is ICH? Just
sure. So the
big picture.
That makes sense. Yes. So the ICH is the InterAgency Council on Homelessness, and it's really the governing board, the local policy making board for homelessness and the funding that gets spent on homelessness throughout the community, the continuum of care, right, as it's defined. So it's made up of cities, it's made up of departments within the county of San Bernardino, it's made up of community-based and faith-based organizations, it's made up of law enforcement, and even other governments are invited to be a part of that, tribal governments. So
hospitals,
colleges, all of those veterans serving organizations. We don't at this time have all of those voices represented. And so what we're working on now is shifting our board to balance it so that we make room for those voices to be present. And that's part of the major work that I've been doing in collaboration with community partners so that the voice of the community really is heard at the local policy making level. We want to hear from veterans. We need the hospitals at the table. We need the colleges back because all of these sectors are being impacted and have something to say and to do with our homeless response.
Okay. And I was going to put this off till later, but you are currently in conversation with a lot of people, not only ICH, but Office of Homeless Services, with Community Development and Housing, and HUD.
Absolutely. Well, we're all partners, right? This is how the community's response on homelessness, gets done. This is how the sausage gets made, is that you've got to have frequent conversations. So, Marcus Dillard, our Chief of Homeless Services for San Bernardino County, I love his approach that he came in right away and says, let me get everybody's phone number and have a personal conversation with them on what do they think the problems are, where do we need to start? And then same thing with Carrie Harmon. She came in and as a part of the community revitalization team in her role as leading the community development and housing department at the county. And she came in immediately. Let me meet with the whole community. I want to meet with providers. I want to hear what everybody has to say from every sector, because even if there's friction between those groups, we are all, whether we like it or not, we're partners. We're stuck together, and we have to come up with a response that is not just satisfactory to the community, but I think that represents that we're trying to do better, right? We're trying to do more. We're trying to engage. So most recently, Carrie and Marcus and myself have had the opportunity to go to various conferences where HUD has been present and where they are, turning their ear in and saying, what's happening out there in San Bernardino? What can we do to make it better? How can we reduce the administrative burden on organizations? How can we make sure that grants are funded in a way that pay a living wage to the community-based organizations that are actually implementing them and are the boots on the ground? They were most recently impressed when we spoke to a panel of HUD leaders, both political appointees and folks that were career staff members. They wanted to hear about San Bernardino, and I asked them specifically, why are we here? What do you really want to hear from us? And they said, we are impressed with the diversity of programs that are rolled out there in San Bernardino County. These are programs that are led by the Housing Authority for the County of San Bernardino, how they rolled out the wonderful emergency housing voucher program. But they said we could not have done this without emergency solutions grant dollars from the county and community partners coming in and helping us with that paperwork burden, right, to meet with the client and actually get it done. They were interested in hearing about programs that the county of San Bernardino spearheads and the different projects that they're engaged in, from, MetroLink, housing, establishing housing along their housing rails, and how community development and housing can make those projects happen and support those. And then, of course, they wanted to know about the COC, the continuum of care. How do we deal with our challenges?
Can you define that really quick, COC?
So the continuum of care is really all of us working together. There's, the community-based providers, faith-based, counties, cities, law enforcement. We're all a part of that. And really, believe it or not, even people that don't think they're part of that system, they really are. Developers are a part of it. Landlords are a part of it. They don't know they're a part of the system because sometimes we have a hard time communicating that. But they are a part of the system because in some way or another, we're all responding to homelessness. We were talking to groups and trying to explain that, hey, you're a part of the system. A lot of times they go, no, I'm not a part. I don't go to those meetings. I don't participate in that. But you know what? Whether you go to the meetings or not, you're a part of the system because you touch it, you are concerned with it, you are impacting it from the rental market and the rates that are set to the policymakers that are, rolling out new policies.
Cool. Thank you for that. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with this month's guest. To read a free digital copy of this month's magazine, go to lsssc.org. Go to News and select Engage Magazine. Or for your free subscription to the quarterly printed magazine, go to lsssc.org, go to Contact Us, and subscribe.
So finally, what I'd like to ask you, you've had the opportunity to tour our community wellness campus today.
Yes.
And would like to, now that you've seen what you've seen and heard what you heard, give us your impression of how our existing facility plus our huge expansion due to the Project Home Key funds we just received. How does that fit in with the InterAgency Council on Homelessness's vision and mission?
First of all, I want to applaud your team here, because the thing that I saw when I was touring your old campus and then envisioning the new was how well you all have been able to survive without the support that I wish the community could have given. And I think that's a theme throughout our community about how community-based organizations make a way out of no way. We're going to make it happen because that's our heart for the community, and we're driven by something that goes beyond policy. It's deeper than numbers and data. It's really our heart for the community. So I want to first say thank you for the work that you all are doing here at Lutheran Social Services.
I wish I could take credit.
Well, thank you, everybody, right? Because it's excellent. And then when I see what is envisioned, what I see is an organization that is taking advantage of the resources as they're rolling out from the state of California. You all are already taking advantage of dollars that are administered through our continuum of care and ultimately signed off on by the InterAgency Council on Homelessness through our COC competition, the HUD dollars that come to you all. You all are really a picture of the diversity of funding streams that an organization has to get to piecemeal together a project and make it work.
And what a puzzle.
Absolutely.
Right?
So, there's, and we tell this to providers all the time, don't get stuck on one funding stream. It may go away. You have to be
probably will go away.
It probably will go away. You're going to have to be able to pivot with each administration and pivot with each new idea, new person that comes on that's setting policy. And what I see is that by taking advantage of these funding streams as they come, that you all have the flexibility that translates to sustainability in our community, which is why you've been around for so long, which is why you've been great partners to our entire continuum of care, and why the ICH can point to you as a model. I think I was telling you that on the day that you had your wonderful press conference, I think that was the shortest ICH meeting in the history of ICH. Why? Because so many of our members wanted to get here to celebrate with you and to say thank you. Thank you for championing this cause. And I know know at times it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, but it did happen. And so it's a testimony of fortitude and just plowing through and saying, you know what? That didn't work. We'll try something out. That doesn't work. We'll try something else. So thank you so much. You guys are great.
Well, and thank you for being with us. Thank you for all you've been bringing through the ICH. I promise you, the time she's been pouring into this is way above and beyond the job description. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for coming on our tour. We are very grateful. Be back.
Coming up next, some final thoughts. At Lutheran Social Services of Southern California, we live out God's love by embracing, equipping, and empowering vulnerable individuals, families, and communities towards self-sufficiency. To discover all the many ways you can be involved in your community, or to make a donation, go to lsssc.org or visit our social media accounts.
Thanks for tuning in to Engage. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did. So please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on your favorite platform. Don't forget to follow us on your social media site or on our website, which is www.lsssc.org, and keep up to date with all the ways that LSSSC embraces, equips, and empowers Southern Californians in your community. Please join us next time for another important episode, and thanks for joining us.